The question says, find the partial fraction decomposition of x squared minus x plus 2 over x squared times x minus 2 over x plus 1. So I'm starting with this x squared. It cannot be reduced any further. So I have to write a over x. I have to write it over the linear plus b over x squared plus the second power. And then I get another variable c. I'll put over the next term, x minus 2. That's just a linear plus d over x plus 1. All right. So now the next thing is to multiply by this denominator. Multiply both sides by this denominator. On the left side, it will just cancel. And what is left will be x squared minus x plus 2. On the right side, this x in the denominator will cancel with one of the x's and x squared. It'll just be a times x minus 2 times x plus 1. And then plus b times the x squared will cancel out, so it's just x minus 2 times x plus 1. C, the x minus 2 will cancel out, so it's c times x squared times x plus 1. And with the d, the x plus 1 will cancel out. It's d times x squared. Why won't the 2 write? Hold on, I want to write a better 2 than that. Come on. I'm trying to write it somewhat small so it all fits. So d times x squared times x minus 2. Now, I will use the roots of this denominator, whatever makes it equal to 0. In other words, x squared equals 0, so x is 0. X minus 2 equals 0, so x equals 2. X plus 1 equals 0, so x equals negative 1. I will use those roots to try to find the values of a, b, c, d. The value of a isn't going to find a root for any of them because putting in any of the roots will get rid of the a term. So I'll have to do something at the end to find out what a is. Maybe I'll use b, c, and d to find out what a is at the end. We'll cross that bridge when I come to it. All right, the first root I'm using is 0. X equals 0. X squared equals 0. X equals 0. That's the root. So on the left side, it's 0 squared minus 0 plus 2, which is 2, equals anything with an x or x squared is going to go away because it's just 0. So if x equals 0, the a term is 0. The b term is not 0. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2 times b. So I'm going to put minus 2b. And then let's see. C has an x squared. X is 0. So c term is 0. D has an x squared. X is 0. The d term is 0. So 2 equals negative 2b. Divide both sides by negative 2. 2 over negative 2 is negative 1 equals b. So I have the b term. Okay, let's try the next one. I'm going to use the next root, which is 2, because 2 minus 2 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. X equals 2. 2 is a root. I'll put it right next to it here. X equals 2. And I will see what happens. On the left side, 2 squared is 2. Minus 2 is 2 squared isn't 2. 2 squared is 4, minus 2 is 2, plus 2 is 4, equals anything with x minus 2 will go away. So the a term goes away, the b term goes away because it'll just be 0. The c term, 2 squared is 4, 2 plus 1 is 3, 4 plus 3 is 12, so 4 equals 12c. And then d has an x minus 2, 2 minus 2 is 0, so the whole thing is 0. Therefore, 4 over 12 is c. Just dividing both sides by 12. And simplify. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So c equals 1/3. Now I'll use the final root, which is, I'm putting like a little bar there to show a separation. And I'll use the other root, which is negative 1. X equals negative 1. X plus 1 is 0. X equals minus 1 is a root. So on the left side, negative 1 squared is 1, minus negative 1 is plus 1. So that's 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. Anything that has x plus 1 goes away. The a goes away. The b goes away. They both have x plus 1. The c goes away. The d, negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So 4 equals negative 3d. And therefore, divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 4/3 equals d as in David. So I found b. I found c. B is negative 1, C is 1/3, D is negative 4/3. Well, I might as well write them up here. Let's see, B is negative 1, so I'll just write, I could write plus negative 1 over x squared, or I can put minus 1 over x squared. C is 1/3. I'll put the 1/3 in there. Whoops, I didn't get my eraser. I'll find A in a minute. 1/3 for C, and for D, I'm putting minus 4/3. So just write it like this. Minus 4/3. Okay, how am I going to get A? Let's check this out. The first term, I don't care what all the other terms are going to be, but the first term here is going to be x times x times x, which is x cubed. So I'm going to have an ax cubed. And the first term, b, is just going to have x times x, so x squared is the biggest term for the b. C is going to have x squared times x as the first term, so in other words, there's going to be a cx cubed. And d is going to have an x squared times x, which is x cubed, dx cubed, so there's an x cubed term there. All right, what is the x cubed term on the left side? Over here. There is none. The coefficient of x cubed is 0. So 0 times x cubed equals ax cubed plus cx cubed plus dx cubed. In other words, 0 equals a plus c plus d. I don't know what a is. 0 equals a, so I'll leave it like it is. I do know what c is, plus 1/3. I do know what d is, negative 4/3, so I'll just write negative 4/3 instead of plus negative 4/3. So that 0 equals a. 1/3 minus 4/3 is minus 3/3, or minus 1. 0 equals a minus 1. In other words, I'll add 1 to both sides. A equals 1. So now I found what a is. And I'll write it in there. So there's the partial fraction decomposition. X squared minus x plus 2 over x squared times x minus 2 times x plus 1 equals 1 over x minus 1 over x squared plus 1/3 over x minus 2 minus 4/3 over x plus 1.